Welcome back to the MCCC Metaverse chapter. Our fourth session is coming up. I love going to concerts. I love the dynamics, I love the atmosphere. It's just cool to be at a live event. So Dominik Faber, who founded Yabal, he founded it for this reason. Yabal is a virtual world where you can host stunning live shows. It's concerts, fashion shows, you name it. So their technology is really setting the bar for live entertainment in the metaverse. And Dominik will share all about this in this session. So over to Dominik. I'll see you after.
I will give you a quick overview of Yabal, the AAA Metaverse, how we call it. My name is Dominik. I'm the founder of Yabal. It's my second company. My first company was in a complete different space. It was software as a service for human resources and recruiting. So it's a great honor to be here with you guys. You are all probably much more into this CGI scene than I am. It's very new for me, only 3 years working in this space. And thanks for Xsens having me. Yeah, so Yabal is the AAA Metaverse, and probably you have seen this now in all of these talks, that the Metaverse is a huge opportunity for all of us. And just to sum it up, it's a huge market. I think it will be not exactly like this, but really in the trillions of dollars, because the web, the 2D web that we know today, will become the 3D web, and every use case that we know from today's web will move on into the 3D web, which is then mostly the metaverse. And yeah, so that's why we all call it the next iteration of the internet. But when we look at it today, today's metaverse is fairly low fidelity. Not sure if you have checked this out. It has limited capabilities. It is low poly graphics, and if you have played it, for instance, if you played maybe Decentraland or even Sandbox or so one of these games or worlds, then the laptop gets super hot and still the graphics doesn't look really good. So when I founded my company, the initial idea was to create stunning 3D environments with an approach to get close as possible to the Pixar style, so to say. This is my big idol to look at. And so we don't see this today because everything is designed to run on a computer, on a laptop with a decent or no GPU and just CPU and onboard GPU. And so in the end, everything looks very low fidelity. And so we thought there must be a AAA version, or the ability to have AAA content in the metaverse. And why? Because some use cases need this. For instance, if you want to sell a super expensive car and you want to tease this in the metaverse, then probably the car retailer or the car brand will not want to show this in low poly or but very pixelish. So this is one example. Or if you look at fashion industry, there was a fashion show in Decentraland, which was very, in the end, I think it was very bad because fashion didn't shine. It was all pixelish. And so we think this is a great example for high fidelity use cases. Also in the entertainment space, I mean, if you look at Travis Scott concert in Fortnite, this was definitely AAA experience, but it was not really live, and the metaverse should be all about live in real time. So we think there's also an opportunity. And also even in a corporate context, if you do meetings or if you do town hall presentations, corporate presentations, then you want to look like either like real, almost real humans, or at least don't look like gamified, all of the time gamified characters. And that's why we created Yabal. We call it the AAA Metaverse. the graphics is still not probably as far as it can be, but I will show you in a second why it's possible to push the graphics. This is just a walkthrough through some of our environments, as we are also focused on live shows and live events. We started onboarding concert spaces on the platform. This is one example. I will give you more details later on. And here you see a rapper who is live animated. I show you later how this works. And by the way, on the right side, you see the app, the website. So if you want, you can download, or you can go to your browser, enter it, create an account, just email password and join me. I'm in the metaverse as well here on my other computer. So if you want, you can come to exactly this space on your machine right now. This is also an example how live animation looks like. I will tell you all the details later, just to give you an introduction on the topic. So for us, everything needs to be live in the metaverse, and we think animation also needs to be live. So yeah, let's go on. I mean, if you're a bit familiar with the metaverse idea, then it's very important that everyone can own and build in it. So in Yabal, you can own and build your own land. You can always use Unreal Engine, so premium spaces use Unreal Engine, and you can basically use what you have. We have some companies that just push their Unreal Engine levels that they already have into our metaverse. And you have one land, which is 600 square meters, and 1 gigabyte of Unreal Engine 4 content. And in total, we have a supply of 90,000 land, but we're just starting, and the first spaces coming to Yabal. In the bottom, I've listed some example use cases like show venues, that's for sure. Arenas, we have a big stadium coming soon with an esports event. With a live animated moderator in it. We have private apartments that you can buy and show your NFT art, for instance, so a bit like on Cyber, but in AAA. And yeah, open areas. And we also have VTubers on the platform. And now I think next one after me is Corey Williams. So it's maybe interesting for him as well, because he can do it all, everything in a 3D environment, so not only stream it as a video. Yeah, so we also introduce our own coin in later this year that you can use to buy stuff on the platform. How is this possible? It's possible through game streaming. So in the end, everything is rendered in the cloud. We use AWS and have set up our own cloud and rendering farm there. And yeah, in the end, the whole Yabalverse is rendered in the cloud and just streamed to your computer. That's why we know exactly the graphics cards that is used, and you as a space builder, for instance, can improve and maximize the graphics to really fit the GPUs. And that's why we have the ability to deliver this in AAA quality. I know this game streaming thing is not new, but to use it in a metaverse context, it's we haven't seen so many other use cases, and we think for this high fidelity stuff, it's the only way, because high fidelity always means it's above your hardware. Even in 5 years or 10 years, when you have VR headsets, high fidelity always will push the boundaries, and it will always be much further than the hardware that you will be able to own. So we think also in the future, if we have super good computers, the graphics that we create still will be much better and will need much more power. So let's see. Just checking here if my stream is still up and running. There's another point which is not exactly connected to live animation, but it's very important for us as well to be really open for avatars in the metaverse. So it's not a closed metaverse environment. When we have live shows, then it's super cool to see not only Ready Player Me avatars coming in, but also avatars from NFT projects and custom-made avatars. So in the end, we have created an engine that can support multiple rigs and multiple avatar systems to make it possible what everyone is talking about, interoperability in the metaverse. If you want to go with your avatar to Sandbox today, it will probably not work, but they are working on this as well. But for us, we already did this with a few NFT projects, and for us, it's one priority to really bring them all in. So now let's talk a little bit about the motion capture stuff. I mean, you have probably seen these videos very often that someone uses Xsens or iPhone X or whatever tracking system to animate a character like this, and probably much better. But what you probably haven't seen so much is that this can happen directly in the game when thousands of people are inside the game with their own character and the character itself is animated. So it was quite some time of research that we did for almost 2 years. We checked out a lot of possible solutions, and the Unreal Engine or Unity replication system, it's definitely not enough. So you cannot really stream these high-end motion capture data. So we decided to create our own system. So it's a combination of the local software on the computer. It is capturing, I will show you this in a second, that is capturing the motion capture data, live link data, and then streams it up to our AWS in AWS cloud to our own servers that we created in C++ code, and they then broadcast this to every game client that is connected to it. And it's very efficient. We have 150 milliseconds end-to-end latency, also across the world. We have seen this from Germany to the US. So when a person moves the hands or the body in Germany, it animates around 150 milliseconds later in the US. So it's really direct, much faster than any video. And we combined this with audio. So when you have lip sync stuff, then audio and motion data is packaged together and streamed live. I think we have questions after this, so I'm just running through it now. We supported the mode MetaHuman, Mixamo, and typo custom rigs. But in the end, it's not so important which rig it is. So it's more the technology to really live stream and buffer this in real time through the internet. At the moment, this is the limitation. We have limitation of up to 4 characters because it's a bandwidth issue. So with 5G, this will be better. But for now, the sweet spot is 2 characters, but we can push it to 4. And it's also possible to do it from home. We have a few VTubers using this from home. So they stream into their own virtual space at Yabal and invite their fans and followers to come with their own avatar and hang out with them all in the 3D world. Yeah, just a quick to show you that this is a bit ugly software piece, but it's really, we built this entirely from scratch. So it's a software that is handling all of this streaming, the audio streaming, the animation streaming. It can connect to different Mocap systems. It's also integrated with Twitch. And so if you would use this as a motion capture creator, then you would use this software, which is not yet designed for a mass use case because the audience is still relatively small, and we use it mainly for our concerts and shows, or our partners use it for their shows. Yeah, but in the end, I mean, this is what you all know. With Unreal Engine, we can push this to the limits. And on the right side, you see a band that is performing live in our upcoming season 1. And we use this MetaHuman as a base character and then customized it. And you can see the quality. On the left side, you see an example of close animation, close simulation, and we think this is also very important for the metaverse to have this close stuff animated much better. We use, of course, the Unreal Engine technologies, but with game streaming and Unreal Engine, this is then possible in the metaverse, and also possible with live streaming in combination. So you could have a fashion model walking the runway in real time, real life and real time, and then simulate the clothing inside Unreal Engine. So one case, this is a concert, just check here, a concert venue from Belgium. They were the first landowners in Yabal, and they created a show with more than 2,000 participants in game. So it's one of the biggest shows. Usually our shows are around 200 to 500 people. It depends on the company and the artist. But they recreated their own venue. It was with light effects, real-time light effects show, so nothing pre-produced. There was a light DJ sitting there and triggering all of these effects, and it was all replicated across all game clients. And then the artist was performing live for almost an hour using Xsens, Mocap suit, and iPhone X for facial tracking. Yeah, I think it's maybe more for questions now. The season 1 is coming soon, so if you want to check out one of these shows, you can do it. From June to July, we have 8 bands playing live, and the season will be we will have 2 seasons every year. So this is the first one, and then we will have much more shows and live events happening in the spaces from our partners. We also have a lifetime pass that gives you access forever. So this is one thing how we fund our company as well, because we are self-funded, so there's no venture capital in the company. It's all my money from my previous company that I sold, and then money from sales that we did, but also now from NFT projects that we're starting now. So when you mint one of these passes, for instance, then you have access to all live concerts forever. It's on the chain, Polygon chain in this case, to keep the fee small. And yeah, so I think that's my walkthrough, and now I would be open for questions.
I mean, I love seeing that. I mean, most of the people that do metaverse kind of games and projects, it's often very stylized. So I really am looking forward to what you guys are creating with especially with the AAA, look and feel content that you're building. I mean, what do you think of the whole new nanite stuff? Do you think that would be better to use in streaming these days?
Say again, the quality was not so
the
good.
Nanite from Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, what we are using is pixel streaming, of course, with Unreal Engine, and so we plan to upgrade to Unreal Engine 5. But I mean, still the 4 is much better than everything else that you have in the metaverse today. Yeah, I mean, we think that Unreal Engine is the right bet for this high fidelity stuff. We were thinking a long time about Unity or Unreal Engine, and Unity has a much bigger community for sure, but end user community, but the more professional content is on Unreal Engine, and this is what we are looking for to bring into the metaverse. Yeah.
Good. Well, looking forward to seeing some Unreal 5 content in the future then.
Yes, end of year, hopefully.
End of the year. Well, something to look forward to, right? So we have a couple of questions. So how far is interoperability for you guys? What do you support and what is on the roadmap?
So the main thing here is the avatar interoperability, that we really can let avatar systems in. The problem with this interoperability thing is no one really understands what it is and how it works. and when you look at, we talk to many NFT projects right now, and we get characters from them. So all of these PFP 3D projects, and then their characters are not rigged or not so well rigged, and no weight painting and all. So you would probably start from scratch with many of these projects. So this is what they also realize, because they never thought about what is the pipeline to bring this really in a game or in a virtual world. Some then create their own characters for Sandbox, for instance. But we think if you buy a character that looks like this, then you don't want to have a different version of it. You want to have exactly this. So interoperability is for us very important. We did it with a few NFT projects already, but it was quite some pain in the ass to onboard this, and because of the rigs. Yeah, so we defined standards for the rig, but of course they are all not following this, so there is manual work to do. I'm a big fan of Ready Player Me, because they solve it from the other side somehow, but yeah, so this is why we thought, okay, we need to have something like Ready Player Me for all of these avatars. So because you cannot upload your avatar to Ready Player Me, it's at the moment not possible.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would say we are at the very beginning here, and we have a few projects, and we are right now hiring a few riggers to improve this, so that we can really onboard them faster.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really also looking at, character creation tools like Metaverse or MetaHuman as well, right? I mean, that kind of gives the tools to the majority on creating characters that could then properly work Metaverse right out of the box.
But the problem with MetaHuman is once you start customizing it, then the rig doesn't work, and you have the same issues. So
exactly. It needs to be like a one-stop shop in that sense, or get everybody to be able to create characters, right? But I think that's a really, really difficult thing to do.
That's a long way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I got another question that's not directed to you. So did you try getting CodeMiko to be a speaker? Well, actually, we had CodeMiko in I believe the 4 last MCCC as well. But then again, I mean, we had Haas in here for the 2nd time as well. So who knows, for the future, we might get her in once more. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter and look out for the next MCCC. So another question, what interaction do you provide for the viewer / audience?
What interaction we provide for the viewer? So it's basically like playing a video game. So you can walk around. It's not VR based at the moment, so we're fully screen based, because this is for us the focus at the moment. You can walk around with your character, you can jump, you have emotions, you can chat, you have public chats and private chats. Voice chat is coming very soon. So it's like from this from sandbox games or social hangout places. You can interact with certain elements, but this depends on the space, if the space supports this. Also in this esports stadium that's coming, people can play football while they are watching an esports game, play an esports tournament, FIFA tournament. They can play themselves football in the arena. So it really depends also on the space or the landowner and which kind of experience they create. They can add gamification, but they don't have to. They are very flexible, so we don't do a lot of restrictions here. We have a very simple SDK that they need to hook into the Unreal Engine level, and then they can basically use almost everything that Unreal Engine offers. Multiplayer, backend, and avatar integration is already done by us, so to say.
Yeah, so a very, very open platform in that sense. That's
sense, yes.
Yeah. So how many people could you host for an event in total? I mean, now, or what do you in the future?
Yeah, so in theory, it scales horizontally. So every space can have as many space servers or game servers as needed. So at the moment, we limit this to 100 players on one server, because otherwise you will have too many avatars running around and you would not see anything else. So this is how we do it at the moment. But of course, we have limitations on on AWS sites. So when we have big shows with hundreds of thousands of attendees, and we would need to announce this in advance. So we are not yet 5 million active users company, but it scales. And in the backend we use GameLift as a multiplayer backend engine, and yeah, you can scale it as much as you want, but if it's really big, then we need to first check the limits.
Yeah, exactly. So any big names coming up in Yabal?
You mean like Snoop Dogg?
For example, yeah. I mean,
he's very busy in other metaverse worlds. No, I mean, there are some names you would probably know, but that's nothing that I can share right now. But at the moment, we are really working not with superstars. So we are a small company in Germany and Berlin, and just building step by step. There's no 100 million venture capital in our pockets. So we are working with local acts here, with companies, with labels from Europe, bringing in interactive music videos, for instance, so with their artists. But a lot of the artists are just, yeah, I would say 500,000 to 1 million streams on Spotify. So chances that you know this worldwide are very low. So yeah, we are not that kind of metaverse that is shining with hundreds of millions and Snoop Dogg.
Well, I mean, if you do ever get Rammstein in, then let me know for sure, because I will be watching.
That's so funny, because I mean, yeah, I know that one guy from Rammstein.
Oh, really?
Yes, you're not the first one asking this. Everyone wants to see Rammstein, but they said, no, we don't do this shit.
I mean, they haven't. Well, I mean, in real life, they already have an amazing show, right? This might bring it to the next one.
Yes. I met him a few times and pitched it, but maybe we as more and more people are requesting this, we will try again.
Yeah. Well,
this is all. If we have 1 million people in our Discord wanting Rammstein, then it's done.
Yeah, exactly. So let me see. So we have 2 questions left. So in Yabal events, how do the audience know that the performance is live? Which I think is actually a good thing, because I mean, you do have some sort of disconnect, right? Being in a virtual environment.
I mean, first of all, if things crash, then you will see it directly. It's really live. There's no parachute. So this is one thing. Then usually the artists do a Q&A. So Travis Scott was not able to do a Q&A in Fortnite because it was just running through the show and pre-rendered. No, this is, I mean, it's really like the artist stops and talks to the audience and asks questions. And if they wish to play another song, then he can start playing this. It's really like a live, it is live. So he's playing this in a record studio. And so it's really live.
Yeah, so you do get some user interaction in that sense, which...
Yeah. He's also, some do funny things like, okay, now I'll go to the left side, or in one space they can fly, and he said, okay, now fly up and clap your hands. Yeah, so you can really do all of these interactions, and you can, the audience gets a feeling that he's really here. And also, I mean, this was no jokes, sometimes things don't work in live shows, and this is the same in the metaverse, and it's quite nice, because then they really realize, oh yeah, it's really live, and this is really the artist standing in a mocap suit animating.
Yeah, which makes it cool, right? I mean, that for everybody, that's a whole new experience of going to a concert from the comfort of their living room, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So let me see. How can artist band contact you if they would like to perform in the metaverse? So is there a way that an artist could contact you?
There's someone coming. Yeah, I mean, of course, they can reach out to us, and in our seasons, we do this at the moment self-promoted, so we promote these shows. But usually, the best way for an artist is I mean, either work with the label or with a producing company to do this. So we are not really a concert production company. So we do these shows just for making use cases. And what we usually have is that an artist buys land on our platform, then we create, or someone else, an agency, creates a nice Unreal Engine space for them where they can perform in. And then they can do live shows there. They can record it as like the ABBA show, but the other way around. So in the metaverse, then just a recorded performance that you can see there. And so this is how it usually works. Our company is too small to do all of these productions. So we don't do production. We can do it, and for some we did it. But we are definitely looking also for partners, agencies that can help. And we already have a few that then build these spaces for the landowners, for instance.
Okay, good. Let me see. For bands, do all the musicians have to be in the same studio, or could they be in a different place? Which I would guess the answer is yes, right?
That's possible. Yeah, they can also mix motion capture systems. So this is also possible. Of course, we recommend Xsens because it's definitely the best.
Of course. Of course.
It's really, I mean, the drift, especially for live concerts and in a record studio with all of these magnetic interferences. We tried every suit and everything, and this is the only thing that works. Still, we have some drift, and this we solve with wipe trackers, but yeah. So it works from different locations, but it's hard for the musicians then because they don't really get a feeling where the other person is, because it's not VR. Yeah, so this is a bit tricky, but yeah, it works.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think, I mean, having a system that you can rely on, especially in you know, concerts and events like that, you don't want to have stuff that fails, right? I mean, redundancy is so important, and I think especially also with what you mentioned, the magnetic immunity, I think we've seen, I mean, it kind of is becoming common, right? I mean, everybody knows the Xsens suits as being magnetic immune, and I think that's
it's the
one of the big
proposition.
Absolutely. So there was one final question, which is not really related. Oh no, there's another one, but let me dive into this one real quick first. So there was a question about bundles for suits and software for companies. So yes, we do have that. So if you do have any questions on what we have to offer in Xsens suits and software packages, make sure to contact sales@movella.com. There will be people that will direct you to the correct salesperson, and they will discuss or even give a demo if you would like to kind of get a feel of what we as a company have to offer. So last but not least, so how do you manage audio latency between the different performers? And I think that kind of comes back to the question if you would want to have performance in different spots, right?
Yeah, it's separate locations. Yeah. So to be honest, we have not done this, so it's possible. We tested it, but in a live setting, the artists were always playing in the same room. But in the end, it works. It works the same way. We have this 150 milliseconds, which is not only for motion capture, it's also for audio. And so you would have this in sync with the motion capture data, and it travels all together into the client at the same time. There's a little buffering that makes sure that it's in sync, and then you would have it. But to be honest, I mean, we have not really tested this with 4 instruments or so. So I'm not 100% sure that this would be perfect, to be honest, because the use cases at the moment for bands that are really playing from one location in the world. But but it's I think the protocol that we designed, the underlying protocol, at least can deliver it as close as possible, probably, because it's all really super low latency. But for audio, you will hear every detail. So I would probably not recommend doing this live playing musicians thing at the moment. We would need 5G for this as well.
Good. So one last question, and then we will round off. Are you planning to make Yabal available for viewing in VR headsets or only from a screen?
Oh no, this is it's also here in the slide. I mean, maybe yeah. So the VR headset stuff is also mostly because we want to rely on game streaming, because this downloading an app is just a big killer. So that's why we need to wait until streaming for VR content is reliable, and we think in 23 we can start testing this and delivering this. It's already playable in VR if you download it. Some levels are optimized for VR, but yeah, as game streaming is the most important thing. Use this, and we are not a VR chat, so it's the strategy is a bit different.
Yeah, and everything is evolving, right? I mean, it's going so incredibly fast the last few years. So who knows where we are in a year from today? Yeah,
we're waiting for the Apple glasses all.
Yeah. I read it as well. So I'm looking forward to the announcement of those. But, you know, we'll see. I mean, let's hope that this will be announced somewhere in the coming month or months.
Yes.
So yeah, great, Dominik. I mean, thank you very much for the amazing talk. I hope you enjoyed it. I also hope the audience enjoyed the presentation. Again, thank you. I would like to introduce Remco back as well.
The host.
The host, yeah.
The MC. Yeah, thank you, Dominik. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next events in the next how you call it, the next show run. So thank you. The next season, indeed. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Yes, thanks, Dominik.